History of Epoch-Crossers Part 4.
Epoch-Crossers. Part 4, Repeating the Mistake. Silence. That was the most terrifying thing that could happen in the Brown Noise Club. After the golden explosion that restarted the time cycle, the world froze. The music that had hammered our eardrums was gone. The walls, made of old speakers and vinyl records, now just seemed like walls. Outside, the mechanical voice repeated its threat. "Come out, Jake. You have created a chaos that we are obligated to stop. Violation of stability is punishable by eternal oblivion." Eternal oblivion? Sounds like a corporate slogan from 2142, whispered Kira, but her voice was now full of nervous energy, rather than arrogant composure. The white of her jumpsuit was slowly returning to a pulsating violet. Ellis, the temporal reserve dispatcher, quickly got up. She was practical and focused, as befitting someone tasked with saving time. "All right, listen to me." Her voice was loud, even though she didn't have to shout over the music. "The patrol can't get in. Your analog technology and my sound trap broke their sensors. But they can surround us. What do we do?" I asked. I felt like the leader of this strange team, even though just yesterday my biggest decision was what number to put on the annual report. "Your grandfather knew what would happen after the echo activation. He left us an evacuation route." Ellis pointed to a huge, old reel of magnetic tape that served as a wall decoration. "That's not decor. That's a temporal anchor spool. We need to start it to jump to the next reserve cell." I walked up to the spool. It was the size of a car wheel. Next to it was a primitive console with 3 huge buttons: start, stop, and synchronize. "And how does this work?" I asked. "The old-fashioned way. We need power, and someone needs to manually control the jump itself," Ellis explained. One of the reserve members, a tall man in work overalls named Sam, quickly approached a generator hidden behind the bar. "I can provide the power," Sam growled. "But who will control the anchor? It has to be done manually. If you miss by half a second, we'll land not in the reserve, but in the Mesozoic era."
Ich glänzt Akira.
Her violet jumpsuit was pulsating. She was the living echo, the essence of movement. She had just used a drum rhythm to open the door. "Kira, you're the ignition," I said. "You activated the cycle. You feel time like no one else. You can control the anchor."
Kira nervously swallowed.
"Me? But I'm not an engineer. I'm a data synthesis specialist. My knowledge is algorithms, not spinning spools." "It's not an algorithm, Kira. It's a rhythm. You showed that with the door. The movement that you fell in love with is now your tool." I squeezed her hand encouragingly. "You won't control time. You'll feel it." Outside, the patrol started their move. A loud, metallic screech rang out. They were using a powerful drilling tool to breach the steel door. "Time is running out," Ellis shouted. Kira approached the console, her thin fingers resting on the rough, synchronize button. I, as someone familiar with analog problems, stood next to Sam. "I'll control the power supply, Kira. Tell me when to give it," Sam yelled. The patrol was almost through. The steel door began to deform. Kira closed her eyes. She ignored the screeching and shouting. She listened to her internal rhythm, which was now the rhythm of the restarted time cycle. "Sam, start!" she cried. And it wasn't a command, but an absolute chord. "Give it power. Now!" Sam yanked the switch. The generator roared with incredible power, and the magnetic tape of the anchor spun, emitting a hum that seemed to press down on space itself. Kira hit synchronize. The entire club began to vibrate. A bright, yet painful blue light filled the room. "Jake!" Kira yelled, her eyes wide open. "Hold me. I have to repeat the mistake. I chose a code that was too old the first time. I need to choose something in the middle. Not too far, but not too close." I wrapped my arms around her, holding her steady so she wouldn't lose her balance. She didn't seem to realize how intimate this was, but I felt the energy radiating from her in waves. Kira arched her back, her face focused. She wasn't looking at the console. She seemed to be listening to the tape itself. "I found the rhythm, Jake. It's It's the year 2050. The golden mean.
Sam.
Cut the power. Sam yanked the switch back. The spool clattered to a stop. The blue light faded. Silence. What happened? I asked, releasing her. We jumped, Ellis replied, looking around the room. We were still in the club, but it looked different. The bar was covered in a thick layer of dust, and the neon signs were shattered. Noise echoed from outside, but it wasn't the roar of old cars. It was a calmer, yet still analog, hum. I peered through a broken window. The year 2050. There were no flying cars here, but also no rusty heaps from 2077. Neat, rounded hybrid cars bustled on the streets. People wore bright, but not as streamlined, clothing as in 2142. This was a time when people believed they had found a balance between technology and comfort. We're in 2050, Ellis confirmed, smiling. Excellent work, Kira. This is the perfect reserve cell. It will take the patrol a minimum of 3 days to track us here. Kira stumbled away from the console, leaning against the wall. She looked exhausted but proud. 3 days. That's not much, she said. What do we do here? And why did Grandpa choose 2050? This is the main reserve archive, Ellis explained. Your grandfather, the engineer and historian, understood that to save time we have to understand how it was destroyed. He believed the beginning of stability lies in 2050. The main archive is in an old theater that used to show black and white films. Analog memory. A theater. I felt a familiar nostalgia. I know how to find a theater. In my time, they were landmark locations. Just then, Sam, who had been checking the equipment, walked over to us. He held something wrapped in an old rag. I found this under the bar. It's a message from your grandfather. Looks like he knew you'd come here. Sam handed me a rolled parchment. I unrolled it. Grandpa's handwriting. Jake, if you're here, it means Kira activated the echo. The patrol has only one weakness. The first digital code. That's the algorithm they use to track all temporal jumps. To stop them forever, you need to find this code, hidden in the main archive, and inject chaos into it. Kira knows how to do it. But be warned. They are waiting for you. Their leader is a fanatic who believes stability is more important than life. He is ready to sacrifice himself to stop movement. Find him and drive a wedge before he finds you. Grandpa, I looked at Kira. Inject chaos into the code? Can you do that? Kira smiled. And this time it was a brand new, genuine smile. Cunning and full of mischief. In 2142, I could dismantle any synthesis system. Inject chaos into a code, Jake? That's my new favorite art form. But we need access to the most powerful analog system in this city. Then we must go. Ellis gestured toward the back exit. Every hour we spend here brings the patrol closer. Sam and the other reserve members will stay here and create a diversion for us. But you must hurry. I took Kira's hand, feeling a surge of adrenaline. We had escaped 2142, disrupted 2077, and now we had to save time in 2050 using an old film projector. And, most importantly, I had to inject chaos into the code. Let's go, Kira. Time to show these stability fanatics what a real mistake looks like, I said. We burst out the back door. The year 2050 was waiting for us. And somewhere within it, the patrol leader was waiting.
Continuation of the Epoch-Crossers story in part 5.